Hey, 大家好，我是 Brett 林夕老师. Hey guys, it's Brett here. Alright, I'm going to lead you through this course and tell you what to expect and what it's about. Alright, let's begin. So, first of all, a little bit of my background. Well, I was born in Australia. I grew up in America and Australia. My grandfather is Scottish. My grandmother is British. My father is Australian and my mother is Hungarian. So, that's why I have a complete mastery of British, American, and Australian English. I have lived in Taiwan for over 20 years, and I've studied Chinese, and I've been teaching English and tests. I love tests. All right, so a little bit about my work experience. I have a certificate of college counseling from Columbia University in the US. It's an Ivy League school, which is pretty good. I also have a certificate of teaching from Cambridge University in England. It's called a CELTA. I have taken the SAT, the TOEFL, the IELTS, and the TOEIC. And I have a perfect score in all of these tests. The SAT is a test similar to your 学测 for high school students in the US. It's also for students who live in Taiwan or anywhere in the world who want to study in the US. In the SAT, we have math, reading, English reading, and grammar. I teach all of these subjects, so I'm pretty into grammar, guys. I love grammar. So that means there will be some grammar in this course, of course. Sometimes if the grammar is important, I'll throw it in. 如果文法的部分是没有很重要，那我会省略。但是如果是重点的话，我一定会带到这个文法的部分。因为其实文法最主要的文法的部分就是你会用，不是你会不会理解。Alright, so I'm not going to spend too much time on the grammar. The important thing is that you know how to use it, not that you understand the different sentence structures. Okay, don't waste your time trying to memorize, all these different grammatical rules because they're not very important. But sometimes it does make a difference. 说真的，我学中文的时候，我完全没有管文法的部分，我就是看，好，那我看一个例句，然后从例句去悟到那个里面的文法。Alright, so now the TOEFL and the IELTS. These are two tests that students who want to study in Western countries have to take. So they test your English, your reading, listening, speaking, and writing. The TOEFL and the IELTS, I have taught those tests for many, many years. The TOEIC, I think everybody knows about the TOEIC. All right, so anyway, I've taken all these tests. I found them a lot of fun. I've taught all of these tests as well, so I will be pointing out sections of the course that are related to these tests for you to focus on. All right, I have written a best-selling book. It's called IELTS Speaking, What Examiners Will Never Tell You. It's a very good introduction to the IELTS speaking test, and it focuses on every single skill that you need for speaking English. So it has many exercises, it has lots of very good answers that I wrote myself. So of course I think they're good, and it's a great introduction to speaking in general and the IELTS speaking test. Alright, I have students all over the world because I teach tests, and I have taught tests for a very long time, so students in America mainly, in the Ivy League schools, Columbia, University of Chicago, and many of these other schools. Canada, the absolute top schools. My students have gone to all of these top schools in Canada. In England, of course, the UK, many of the top schools there. Australia, I'm Australian, so of course many of my students have gone to the top schools in Australia, and even Japan. We had this amazing student recently who got into law school. 他考到法律系 in Dongda. It's the most difficult thing to get into in Japan, and I had this student who got in there, so that was pretty exciting. Anyway, in this course, I will teach you many things about speaking. So first of all, I will teach you the things that the dictionary does not tell you. How do I know the dictionary doesn't tell you? Because I have checked the dictionary. I've checked many English to Chinese dictionaries. I have even checked many English to English dictionaries, and many of the dictionaries don't have all of this information. So how specifically should a particular word be used, and when should it not be used? Okay, or what are the differences between different words, in the degree of strength? So some words are very strong and some words are weaker. What are the hidden meanings of many words? And when do native speakers actually use the words? I'm sure you know that there are words that Taiwanese use that Westerners don't know about, or Westerners use incorrectly because they just don't know. They don't have that 语感. Okay, so that's one of the major things I'll be teaching in this course. I will also be teaching only very standard English. Now, what do I mean by very standard English? I mean the type of English that everybody in Australia, America, the UK, New Zealand, all of these English-speaking countries, they know these words and they use these words. Okay, I am not going to teach you words that people use in only one country. All right, so if there's a word that they only use in one part of Australia, I'm not going to teach that word. Okay, because that's a waste of time. If it's only in one part of the UK, forget it. It's not important. The only time you want these words is if you know you are going to that country. And if you're going to a country, then yes, you should learn those words, right? And if you're not going to the country, don't bother. It's a waste of time, okay? You need words that everybody uses in every country. Okay, so that's the focus of this course. I will also be interspersing culture. So I'll be introducing aspects of culture, could be British, American, or Australian culture into the course, because the more you understand about Western culture, the more you can understand why native speakers use the words they do when they do. Okay, and that will mean that you will be more accurate in your English. And that's the goal, isn't it? The goal is to be accurate. The goal is to speak English that native speakers understand and they won't misunderstand. All right, so that's what we'll be doing there. Also, there are many parts of your English, or the English of most of my students, where they get words mixed up. Okay, so they might have a particular word and they use the wrong word, or they use a word in the wrong place. Okay, now I've been teaching English in this country for over 20 years, so I have a lot of experience with noticing the mistakes that Taiwanese make, and the mistakes are all very similar. So most students make the same mistakes. Now, I've heard these mistakes for many years, so I know what those mistakes are. So when I get to a word that people screw up, I'll tell you about it. And I'll say, okay, now make sure you don't use this word in this situation. Or word A does not mean word B. Okay, these types of similarities and differences, right? They're very, very important to understand because I live here, so I know the mistakes. But when you travel overseas and you're talking to native speakers who don't live in Taiwan, they won't know the mistakes that you commonly make, and they won't understand what you're saying. Okay, so you have to know when to not use particular words, right? It's essential. It's very important. All right, this course will help you in many ways. So first of all, we'll be looking at life, okay? So like daily life, work, and tests. All right, so we'll be looking at words that you have to know for these particular situations. Now, of course, daily life, if you never leave Taiwan, then in daily life you won't have to speak English, all right? But if you travel overseas, if you live overseas, then you'll be encountering words for daily life every single day, right? So these words will be essential to you in that situation. If you work, if you need to use English during work, you might have to send emails back and forth. Maybe you have to actually go overseas to work, or maybe you have Zoom calls with people in Western countries. Okay, so I will have a section for work vocabulary. The vocabulary here is mainly words that Taiwanese get wrong, or Taiwanese think they know, but they don't actually use correctly, right? There are many words that we have learned before, but we use them incorrectly. And one of the reasons is because we only learned one definition of these words. And we think that, oh, word A is this word. Okay, so for instance, if I say, well, work is 工作. Okay, 好，那我知道 work 就是工作，工作等于 work。所以我每次要讲 work， 我会说工作，或者说我每次想说工作，我会说 work， 这当然是错的。 OK， 没错 ，work 跟工作有一些重叠在，但是它们是不等于的，它们是有时候会等于，但是不是每一次等于。Just like work, if I say that'll work， 那这是什么意思啊？那个是工作吗？那不是啊，那是这样子行得通，诶，这样子会有效。所以 that'll work， 我们这边的 work 就是有没有效，行得通还是行不通的意思。Okay, so they're not always equal. So we have to know when a word is not equal and when a word is equal. All right. Now, also, if you're taking a test, many of my students have to take tests. Many people have to take tests at some point in their life. Tests test different things than normal life does. Okay, so there are some words that we have in tests that we just don't use as often in life. But if you use it correctly on a test, the examiner will get very happy and give you a better score. All right? But the words that we use on tests, or that examiners, native speaker examiners want, are not always the same words that local Taiwanese teachers want. Okay, so if you're in high school in Taiwan and you're doing a writing test, your teachers will want you to use certain words. Now, those words are not always the same words that a native speaker wants. Okay, so if you're taking the IELTS or the TOEFL and you're writing particular words, you want to use the words that native speaker examiners want. Okay, and they're not always the same. So I will focus part of the course on that. All right. I will also help you understand the difference between synonyms. All right, a lot of this course is focused on synonyms. So we'll have one head word, like a main word, and then we'll have many synonyms that are related to that word. Now, synonyms are not equal. They are sometimes similar, and sometimes they are not similar. All right, so 你千万不要以为所有的近义词都是一样的。A 等于 B， 当然是不等于。如果 A 等于 B， 那为什么有 A 跟 B？ 为什么不就有 A？ 对不对？If words really were equal, we would not need this many words. All right, we have so many words because the words are not equal. They are slightly different. All right, but native speakers have a particular understanding of the words that is not usually found in the dictionary. All right, so I will constantly be talking about how native speakers see these words, because the more you understand how a native speaker sees a word, the more you know how to use that word correctly. Okay, I will also have some very long sentences in this course. So the course is made up of many example sentences. There are over 3,000 of these sentences that I have made myself. All right, now, these sentences are native speaker English. Okay, so you can use these sentences with confidence because you know that, well, a native speaker wrote them, so they are clearly native speaker English. They're in different degrees of difficulty. So some of the sentences are extremely long and some are very short. Right? The longer sentences, you have to get used to longer sentences. Right? I've purposely put some long sentences in the course because you need to get used to longer sentences because native speakers always use a mix of long and short sentences, right? So you have to start getting used to them. And don't worry about them. Don't think, oh my God, it's a long sentence, I'm going to die. You're not going to die. It's not a big deal, all right? Just get used to it and repeat it. And you want to memorize these sentences and use them again and again and again. And the more times you say them, the easier they will feel and the more natural they will feel. That's how I learned Chinese. Okay, so I took conversations, I took stuff from Chinese, and I memorized it, and I just repeated it again and again and again. And I kept repeating it until it felt totally natural. And now, I don't feel those sentences difficult at all, because they're not. They're easy, okay? They're only easy because I'm used to them. All right, we will also get you to practice 照样造句. All right, that just means that I will force you, basically, to make sentences. Right? The best way to learn a language or vocabulary is to make sentences. Now, I will give you example sentences, and you will use those sentences to make your own sentence. All right? So you're not just trying to 乱造句, run by. No, you are taking my sentences and making a sentence of your own just by replacing one or two words, or sometimes more words, from the original sentence. And if you do that, so if I have a noun and I replace it with another noun, I can feel pretty confident that my grammar is correct. All right, so let's have a look at an example of 照样造句. Okay, so this is our original sentence. He made serious money in sales. All right, now this is from a unit where I talk about serious. Okay, so serious is one of our words. And he made serious money in sales. 那这句话是什么意思？就是他在 sales 赚爆多钱。Okay, so he made a lot of money in sales. So 我们这个 serious 其实 serious 是可以取掉可以取掉，可以替换掉。Okay, so we can start replacing words. Let's have a look at some examples. So he made serious money in real estate. So sales is a profession. Real estate is also a profession. So I've replaced one profession with another profession. Okay, so you can do that. What else could we replace? We could also take the profession and change it into a 动名词, a gerund. So selling rice. So he made serious money selling rice. All right, yeah, pretty good. What else could we do? We could replace serious with another word. He made tons of money in sales. I'd say he made a lot of money in sales. He made some money in sales. He made millions of dollars in sales. Okay, so we can replace many different words in there. Don't replace too much at one time. Okay, because if you replace too much at one time, then you won't know if your grammar is correct or not. Okay, you might totally screw it up. Let's look at one more example. So, I'm serious. Durian is my favorite fruit. Okay, so this I'm serious is 我是认真的哦，我没有骗你哦。So durian, 榴莲, is my favorite fruit. 这是真的. So durian is my favorite fruit. Okay, so let's start replacing words. I could say I'm serious. Durian is my favorite food. So I could replace fruit with food. I could say I'm serious. Beef is my favorite meat. Okay, now of course beef, 牛肉, is not fruit, but it's meat. So I would have to replace fruit and durian. Okay, so I'd have to replace two words here. I could replace the whole sentence. I'm serious. I enjoy taking tests. 我是认真的哦，我真的很喜欢去考试. Okay, so that's another thing we could do. Now here, this is all right because we have I'm serious, 破折号. Now 破折号后面就是一个完整的句子. So I could put any sentence I like in there as long as it's surprising. All right, so that's our 照样造句法. You need to practice this all the time. Ideally, practice it with every single sentence. All right, now, a good thing about taking a course online is that you can be at any stage in your learning and you can still take this course. Okay, it's not only for people of super high level or super low level. This course is for everybody. I have many different layers of vocabulary and grammar in this course. Okay, so you might do it if you're at a lower level. You might do it and find, oh, okay, so I can only understand the very basic sentences. That's okay. Learn the basic sentences. Practice with those 照样造句 with the basic sentences. Maybe you're at a medium level. You think, wow, okay, I can do some of the difficult sentences too. Great. Use some of the difficult sentences. Use the basic sentences as review. Maybe you're at a higher level. Then use the basic sentences. Now, make sure you really are using those basic sentences correctly yourself. Don't just think, 这个我学过了，我都知道了. No, 不一定，说不定你是用错. Okay, so still use the basic sentences. Make sure that you're using them correctly. Look at the medium sentences and make sure you're using those correctly. And then practice or learn the more difficult sentences. All right. Another good thing about it is that you can take this class anywhere you are. I mean, you just need a cell phone or you just need a computer or something, and you can do it anywhere. As long as you have an internet connection, you can watch these classes. Another good thing is that it doesn't matter if you're a slow learner or a fast learner. Makes no difference. I'm a bit of a slower learner. When I learn things, I like to go very, very slowly and focus on the fundamentals. Because if I focus a lot of time on the fundamentals, then I know that I have a good, solid base. And then you have a good, solid base, you can then build up from there, and everything is much easier. Okay, focus on the fundamentals. But if you're a very fast learner, then just go faster. Okay, everybody learns at a different pace. you can go whatever pace you like. Another good thing is that you can do what I call 经时复习. All right, let's have a look at what that is. So the first thing you do is, after you have watched a video, okay, so you finish either the entire video or you finish a word, okay, you want to test yourself. I would not wait for the whole video. I would test myself after every single word. And you want to ask yourself and see, okay, do I really understand the word? Could I explain the word? Like if I had to teach the word to somebody, could I explain it? Do I understand the meaning? Can I make sentences with it? That's very important. You have to be able to make your own sentences, or at least remember the sentence that was in the, on the page. Okay, so you have to test yourself. Now, if you don't test yourself, you're not going to know if you really know it. Right? Testing yourself is the most important thing you can do. Right. Now, if you forget, that's not a problem. If you finish the video, just go back, have a look at your notes. I recommend taking notes when you're watching the course. Definitely take notes. Or you can rewatch the entire video, and that will give you an even deeper impression of the stuff that you have just learned. Now, when you have finished the entire video, okay, like the entire video course that is, take a break, like a couple of months, right? And then you can go back and you can rewatch it. You can rewatch the video course, and then you can see how much of the vocabulary and sentences and collocations you can actually use. Okay, the most important thing is, can you use it? Not, do you know it? Can you actually use it? All right, now, while you're taking the course, what do you need to do? Okay, first thing is, don't be in a hurry. Don't think, oh my God, I need to take all these notes. No. Watch. Listen. Make sure you understand. That's the most important thing. First thing you do is understand. Don't try to do two things at once. Often when we try to listen and take notes, we miss stuff. Don't do that. Okay, so listen, watch, understand. Once you've understood, then you can pause and take some notes. Okay? Don't try to do it at the same time. Now, don't have speed as your number one goal. Some people want to go really fast. I want to go fast. You're not trying to get through the course. You're trying to learn from the course. Okay, so you're not trying to go fast. If you miss something, if you don't understand it, not a problem. Just go back. Okay, you can rewind and replay it. Not a big deal. Now, after you've finished a class, what should you do? You want to make sure that you can take every single sentence and repeat it at least 5 times. Now, you will have the handouts for the course, okay, that you should print out, and you can read through it. Now, read them 5 times, and try to read them with feeling. Don't just read them, like, I am very happy. I am very happy. I am very happy. 我经常很快乐吗？一点都不快乐. So don't do that. Okay, you want to read it with feeling. So if it's saying I am happy, then be happy. I am very happy. I am very happy. Kind of like that. Have some feeling. The feeling will make you remember it much, much better. All right? Now, you want to take all of the sentences and 照样造句. And you also want to use the words. Okay, so we have all these words and we have the collocations. And you want to make sentences with them. Okay, very important. I have a lot of 补充单字 or 补充搭配词. Many, thousands of these things. Okay, use those words. Make sentences. Now, when you have 惯用语, okay, so these are kind of like set phrases that native speakers use all the time. Okay, you want to practice the set phrases until you don't even have to think about them, until you have totally internalized them. 你要完全的内化. Okay, like that's the goal, complete internalization. Okay, so you can just say them. You don't even have to think. All right, sometimes that takes a long time. Sometimes you might need to practice it 50 times, 100 times. Okay, it doesn't matter how long it takes, just keep practicing. Now, if there is a question that you still have, you've done all these things, you've spent lots of time, you've rewound, you've watched it again, you've looked at your notes, you still don't understand it. Not a big deal. Okay, some of the stuff in this course is very difficult. All right, now if you don't understand it, no problem. You can ask me on the Facebook group. Okay, you can just ask a question and I will respond. All right, now finally, I would like to say it doesn't matter where you are now, makes no difference. Okay? The important thing is that you make a start. All right? If you start, you will start to improve. Clearly. All right? Now, don't try to go fast. Just try to learn and use the stuff that you learn in here. That's the most important thing. Don't try to go fast. Try to learn as much as you possibly can and try to use as much as you can. All right, guys, and I will see you during the course. And one final note, I know that you can do it. I know that you can improve your English. All you have to do is try. Spend as much time as you can and work hard, and your English will definitely improve. All right, guys, good luck.